The first thing I remember was the sound of my own radio. Static, then screaming, then nothing. My name is Eleanor Hayes. Most people called me Ellie. I was 72 years old when I died, and for almost 30 years I worked as a paramedic in Boston. I spent most of my life inside ambulances. Cold nights, flashing lights, people crying, people begging, people taking their final breath while I held their hand. Death became normal to me, too normal. I used to tell my daughter something terrible. After enough years, every emergency starts looking the same. I regret saying that now, because the night I died, nothing was the same after that. It happened during winter, a brutal February storm. Snow mixed with freezing rain. The roads looked silver under the streetlights. I almost called in sick that night. My chest had been bothering me for weeks. Not pain exactly, just exhaustion, deep exhaustion, the kind that sleep never fixes. But paramedics don't stop, not really. You keep moving until your body forces you to stop. My partner that night was a younger woman named Rachel, 34 years old, always talking, always energetic. She reminded me of who I used to be. Dispatch called us around 1:47 a.m. Possible drowning. Female victim pulled from icy water near the harbor. CPR in progress. Rachel hit the sirens immediately. The ambulance pushed through the storm while snow slapped against the windshield. I stared out the window quietly. For some reason, I felt strange that night. Not sick, not afraid, just heavy inside. Like my body already knew something my mind did not. Rachel glanced at me. "You okay, Ellie?" I smiled weakly. "Just tired." That was the last normal sentence I ever spoke. When we arrived near the harbor, police lights painted the snow blue and red. A young woman lay on the pavement near the docks, completely soaked, skin pale as paper. Firefighters were doing CPR. People shouted everywhere. Wind screamed across the water. Rachel and I rushed over. I knelt beside the girl, couldn't have been older than 20. Her lips were blue, eyes half open, frozen strands of hair stuck to her face. I started checking her airway while Rachel prepared the monitor, and then the girl suddenly looked directly at me, not at the others, at me, her eyes focused with terrifying clarity. I froze completely, because medically, that should have been impossible. She was gone. I knew she was gone, but her mouth moved anyway, very slowly, very softly. "You shouldn't be here tonight." Then her eyes rolled upward again. Her body went limp, dead, completely dead. The wind hit harder around us. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. "Ellie?" Rachel shouted. I realized my hands were shaking, badly. I stepped backward. My chest tightened suddenly, sharp, quick, then gone. I ignored it. That is what people like me do. We ignore warning signs. We survive everybody else, or at least we think we do. The girl was pronounced dead at the scene 20 minutes later. We loaded equipment back into the ambulance. Rachel kept talking about the victim. "She probably slipped near the docks." I barely listened. Something felt wrong, very wrong, like invisible pressure sitting on my chest. The snow kept falling harder, huge, slow flakes drifting through the streetlights. The city looked empty, silent, beautiful in a lonely kind of way. We drove toward the hospital to restock supplies, and that was when it happened, without warning. A crushing pain exploded through my chest. I gasped so hard it scared even me. My hands locked around the seatbelt. Rachel immediately looked over. "Oh my God, Ellie?" Pain shot into my neck, my left arm, my jaw. I knew instantly what it was. Heart attack. Massive. I had treated enough patients to recognize every symptom. Funny thing is, even when you know you're dying, your brain still refuses to believe it. Rachel pulled the ambulance over near an empty intersection. Snow covered everything around us. The whole city looked buried. She climbed into the back with me. Her voice shook while she attached the monitor pads. "Stay with me." I tried answering. Couldn't. Breathing felt impossible now, like drowning without water. The monitor alarm started screaming. Rachel cursed under her breath. Then, everything became chaos. Radio calls, lights, cold air rushing inside, another ambulance arriving, hands grabbing me, someone yelling drug doses. I remember seeing snowflakes landing on my jacket while they rolled me across the street toward the second ambulance. And for some reason, that tiny detail stayed with me. The snow looked beautiful, perfect, slow, peaceful. I think part of me already knew I was leaving. Inside the ambulance, they shocked me once. My whole body jumped violently. Then, darkness swallowed everything, but only for a second. Then I heard voices again. Still no rhythm.
Another shock. Pain exploded through me, then vanished instantly.
And suddenly, there was nothing. No sound, no pain, no heartbeat. Just silence. The deepest silence I had ever known. At first, I thought I was unconscious, but slowly, I realized something impossible. I could still think. I remembered my name, my daughter, my life. But I could not feel my body anymore. Not my arms, not my breathing, nothing. And then I noticed. I was standing somewhere, or floating. I still cannot explain it properly. There was no floor, no sky, no hospital, only darkness. Endless darkness. Not frightening at first, just empty, cold in an emotional way, like being forgotten. I looked around but could not see my own body, only shadows stretching forever. No time, no movement, no sound. And somehow, I knew I was dead. Not dreaming, not hallucinating, dead. 3 hours later, doctors would pronounce me clinically gone. But in that place, time did not exist anymore. Then something changed. Far away in the darkness, small lights began appearing, very slowly, one after another, soft, glowing shapes. At first, I thought they were stars, but they moved strangely, almost breathing, pulsing softly. And as they grew closer, I realized they were not lights at all. They were doors, hundreds of them, floating silently in the darkness. Different sizes, different colors, some old and wooden, some bright white, some barely visible. And deep inside me, a terrible feeling suddenly appeared. I knew those doors were connected to lives, memories, choices, maybe even souls. And somehow, one of them was waiting for me. I do not know how long I stood there staring at those doors. Seconds, hours, years. Time had no shape in that place. That is the hardest thing to explain. On Earth, time moves forward. Tick, tick, tick. But there, everything felt still, like the universe had stopped breathing. The doors floated silently in the darkness around me, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, some glowing softly, some almost invisible, some looked ancient, others looked strangely familiar. And the silence, God, the silence was alive somehow, not peaceful, not evil, watching, waiting. I remember trying to speak, hello? But no sound came out, not because I had no voice, because sound itself did not exist there. Yet somehow, I could still feel emotion, fear, confusion, loneliness, all stronger than they had ever felt during life. Then one of the doors moved, very slowly. It drifted closer to me through the darkness. Old wood, white paint peeling away, a brass handle, tiny scratches near the bottom. And suddenly, my chest tightened emotionally because I recognized it. It was the front door of my childhood home, the house in Providence where I grew up in the 1960s. I had not seen that door in over 50 years, not since my parents died. I stared at it in complete disbelief. And then, the door opened by itself. Warm light spilled out, soft yellow light. I could smell something immediately. Tea and cinnamon. My mother used to make cinnamon tea during winter storms. I felt tears building inside me instantly. Not physical tears, something deeper. The moment I stepped closer, the darkness behind me disappeared. Suddenly I was standing inside the old house again, perfectly preserved. The wallpaper, the tiny hallway mirror, the creaking wooden floor, even the old clock near the kitchen, ticking. For the first time since dying, I heard sound again, real sound. I walked slowly through the hallway. My hands trembled. Every detail felt painfully real. Then I heard laughter, a little girl laughing. I turned toward the kitchen and saw myself, 8 years old, small, brown hair tied back, sitting at the kitchen table coloring with crayons. My heart nearly stopped again, or whatever existed instead of a heart there. I watched my younger self quietly, completely unaware of me. My mother stood near the stove, humming softly, alive again, young again. She looked exactly as I remembered before cancer destroyed her. For a second, I forgot I was dead. I just stood there staring at her. And suddenly all the years between us vanished. I wanted to run to her, to hug her, to tell her how much I missed her, but something held me back. A a strange feeling, like this was not truly a memory, not exactly. Then my mother slowly stopped moving. The humming stopped. The entire room became still, and very slowly, she turned toward me, directly toward me. Her eyes filled with sadness immediately, not surprise, sadness, like she already knew everything. "Ellie," she whispered. Hearing her voice broke something inside me. I fell to my knees, crying, or something close to crying. "I'm dead," I said. My voice sounded strange there, distant, echoing. My mother walked closer, slowly. "You're between places. What does that mean?" She looked toward the hallway behind me, toward the darkness outside the house. "You stayed too long." Fear crawled through me instantly. "What is this place?" But before she answered, the room suddenly flickered like a damaged television signal. The walls shook softly, the lights dimmed, and for the first time, I heard something else. Far away, voices, muffled, distorted, someone shouting, "Clear!" Then a violent force slammed through my entire body. Pain exploded everywhere. My vision shattered white, and suddenly, I was back inside the hospital room. For one horrifying second, I saw doctors surrounding my body, machines screaming, hands pushing against my chest. I was above them, floating near the ceiling, watching. My own face looked gray, dead, mouth slightly open, eyes partially closed. A nurse was crying quietly near the wall. Rachel stood in the corner, shaking. I remember hearing someone say, "Time of death." Then everything vanished again, pulled backward violently, like falling underwater. The hospital disappeared instantly. Darkness returned, cold, silent, endless. I screamed this time, or tried to, and then I noticed something terrifying. The doors were changing. Some had disappeared completely. Others looked rotten now, twisted, breathing strangely. One of them slowly creaked open by itself. Inside was not light, only shadows and whispers. I could not understand the words, but the feeling coming from that doorway, pure despair. I stepped backward immediately. Something inside me knew not to go near it. Then another door appeared beside me, small, simple, covered in frost. As I approached it, I heard a familiar sound, my daughter's voice, crying, softly, "Please don't leave me." The moment I touched the handle, the entire darkness around me trembled, and suddenly I was standing inside a hospital waiting room, but different somehow, muted, gray, like watching life through fog. My daughter sat alone on a chair, older now, exhausted, crying into her hands. I tried speaking to her. She could not hear me. I tried touching her shoulder. My hand passed through her. That was the moment death became real to me. Not the heart attack, not the darkness, not the floating. That moment. Seeing my child suffer while I could do nothing. She looked so small sitting there alone, and suddenly memories began flooding into me. All the missed birthdays, the canceled dinners, the years I chose work over family, the emotional distance between us. I had spent my entire life saving strangers, while slowly losing the people closest to me. The pain of realizing that was worse than dying itself. My daughter suddenly looked upward, directly toward where I stood. For one impossible second, it felt like she sensed me. Her eyes widened slightly, and she whispered, "Mom?" Then everything shattered again. The waiting room dissolved, the floor vanished, darkness swallowed me completely, and this time, I was no longer alone. Something else was there with me. I could not see it clearly, only movement, tall, still, watching from far away in the void. No face, no voice. Yet its presence filled the darkness instantly, and deep inside me, I understood one terrifying thing. That thing had been watching me since the moment I died. The figure never moved. That was the worst part. If it had chased me, spoken to me, threatened me, maybe I could have understood it. But it only stood there in the darkness, tall, silent, watching. No face, no eyes. Yet I felt completely exposed before it, like every secret inside me was visible. Every regret, every lie, every selfish moment I had tried to forget during life. The darkness around us felt heavier now, not empty anymore, alive, breathing slowly. And for the first time since dying, I felt fear so deep it almost became physical. I stepped backward carefully. The figure remained still. Then suddenly, another door appeared behind me. Unlike the others, this one looked damaged, burned around the edges, smoke drifting softly from underneath it. I did not want to open it. Something inside me screamed not to touch it. But another feeling pulled me closer, curiosity, or maybe guilt. My hand slowly reached for the handle. The moment I touched it, the darkness vanished instantly. I was back inside an ambulance, my ambulance, but not from the night I died. This was years earlier, summer, rain hitting the windows. I recognized the call immediately, and my stomach dropped. No, not this memory. Please, not this one. A teenage boy lay strapped to the stretcher, 17 maybe, motorcycle accident, massive internal bleeding. I remembered him instantly because he died during transport, but that was not the memory haunting me. The haunting part was me. I watched my younger self sitting beside him, tired, irritated, emotionally numb after a 16-hour shift. The boy kept crying softly, "Please don't let me die." And I remembered what I said to him. I remembered every word. You need to stay calm, cold, professional, distant, not cruel, but not human either. I never held his hand, never comforted him, never looked him in the eyes. I treated him like another task, another emergency, another body. And now, standing there outside the memory, I felt his fear completely. Not imagined fear, real fear. His panic flooded directly into me. I felt his pain, his confusion, his desperate hope that somebody would care enough to tell him he was not alone. And I had failed him. The memory stopped. Everything froze. Rain hanging motionless in the air. The teenage boy slowly turned his head toward me, toward the older, dead version of me watching. His face looked calm now, not angry, which somehow hurt even more. "You were tired," he said softly. Tears filled my eyes instantly. "I'm sorry." "I know." Then the entire ambulance dissolved into darkness again. I collapsed to my knees, shaking. That place was not simply showing memories. It was forcing me to feel them. Every emotion, every consequence, every hidden wound I had left inside others. And suddenly I understood something horrifying. This was not punishment. It was truth, pure truth, the kind nobody escapes. Another memory appeared without warning. This time my daughter, 16 years old, standing near the front door crying after an argument. "You care more about strangers than your own family." I remembered that night. I had missed her school ceremony because of work. Again, I remembered yelling back at her, telling her she was selfish for not understanding my job. But now, inside this place, I felt her heartbreak too. The loneliness, the feeling of always coming second to my career, the silent resentment she carried for years afterward. I screamed for the memories to stop, but they kept coming. Faces, voices, moments I buried long ago. Not only the bad ones, the good ones too. Holding my daughter as a baby, dancing in the kitchen with my husband before cancer took him, my mother brushing my hair during thunderstorms. Tiny moments, simple moments, and somehow those hurt the most, because I realized how quickly life disappears. All those years, all that stress, all that rushing, and in the end, the soul only remembers moments, not money, not status, not overtime shifts, moments. The darkness slowly calmed around me again. Then I noticed something strange. The tall shadow figure was closer now, still silent, still faceless, but no longer terrifying in the same way. I stared at it carefully, and suddenly, I realized something impossible. The shape looked familiar, not someone else. Me, or part of me, older somehow, heavier, like every hidden pain inside me had formed into a living shadow. Then finally, it spoke, not with a voice. The words simply appeared inside me. "You spent your life running from silence." The truth of that hit me immediately. Every extra shift, every distraction, every excuse to stay busy. I had buried my grief beneath work for decades. My husband's death, my mother's death, my loneliness, my regrets. I never faced them properly. I only kept moving. Saving others became my way of avoiding myself. The figure moved closer, still no face, only darkness shaped like a human soul carrying too much weight. Then another message entered my mind. "You believed numbness was strength." I began crying again, because it was true, completely true. The darkness around us suddenly changed. The void slowly opened into something enormous, an endless shoreline beneath a black sky. Dark water stretched forever. No stars, no moon, only distant silver mist floating above the waves. And yet strangely, I no longer felt afraid, only exhausted. The shadow figure stood beside me now, facing the ocean. Then far away, I saw lights. Soft golden lights moving through the mist. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Warm, peaceful, beautiful. And with them came something I had not felt since dying. Peace. Real peace. The kind that enters slowly and quietly.
The shadow figure looked toward the lights, then toward me.
One final thought entered my mind. You may choose. The moment those words appeared, I understood everything. The doors, the memories, the darkness. None of it was random. Something was asking me whether I wanted to continue, whether I was ready to let go of life completely. And honestly, part of me wanted to. No pain, no exhaustion, no loneliness, only peace waiting beyond that shoreline. Then suddenly, through the distant mist, I heard a voice, weak, broken, crying, "Mom, please." My daughter. The sound ripped through the peaceful silence instantly, and for the first time since dying, I hesitated. The moment I heard my daughter's voice, the shoreline began shaking, not physically, emotionally, like two worlds were pulling against each other. The golden lights in the distance still moved softly through the mist. Peace waited there. I could feel it. No fear, no grief, no pain. After a lifetime spent carrying death inside ambulances, part of me desperately wanted rest. The shadow figure beside me remained silent, watching, waiting. It would not force me. That place never forced anything. That was what made it terrifying. Choice, real choice. My daughter's voice came again, closer this time. "Mom, please come back." And suddenly, I saw her. Not fully, only fragments, like broken reflections across water. Her sitting beside my hospital bed, her exhausted eyes, her hands gripping mine. 3 days without sleep, 3 hours after doctors declared me clinically gone, she still refused to leave the room. I felt her grief pouring into the darkness around me, raw, heavy, human. And something inside me broke completely, because for the first time in years, I truly understood how deeply she loved me. Not the rushed version of love from ordinary life, not distracted love, not assumed love, real love, the kind people often realize too late. The shoreline wind grew stronger. The golden lights began fading slowly into the mist. The peace was moving away, or maybe I was. The shadow figure turned toward me one final time, and suddenly, it began changing. The darkness peeled away slowly like smoke, and underneath it, I saw myself. Not old, not young, just me. Without exhaustion, without emotional armor, without all the masks I carried during life. And I realized something that still chills me today. That shadow had never been a creature. It was the version of myself I buried for decades. The grieving woman, the lonely widow, the exhausted mother, the frightened human being hidden beneath the paramedic uniform. I spent my entire life pretending strength meant feeling nothing, but death stripped all of that away. The real soul cannot hide from itself. Then the other version of me smiled sadly, and one final message entered my mind. Love was always more important than being needed. The moment I understood those words, everything collapsed. The shoreline vanished, the lights disappeared, darkness exploded around me violently, and suddenly, pain, horrible pain. My chest slammed like fire. Air crashed into my lungs. Machines screamed. Voices shouted everywhere. I opened my eyes. Bright hospital lights blinded me instantly. Someone yelled, "She's back!" My body convulsed hard against the bed. I heard crying nearby. Real crying, not distant echoes. Real, human. And then I saw her, my daughter, standing beside the hospital bed, covering her mouth with both hands, her entire body shaking. The look on her face, I will never forget it as long as I live. Shock, relief, disbelief, pure love. I tried speaking but could barely breathe. My throat burned. Every muscle hurt. A doctor leaned over me looking pale. "You were gone for over 3 hours. 3 hours. To them, it was a medical impossibility. To me, it felt like a lifetime. The next few days became a blur of tests and questions. Doctors could not explain how I survived without major brain damage. Some called it a miracle. Others avoided the subject completely, but none of them knew what I remembered. I told nobody at first. Who would believe me? A 72-year-old paramedic claiming she entered another world after death? Even I struggled believing it. But strange things changed afterward. Small things first. Silence no longer frightened me. I stopped needing constant noise around me, stopped running from myself. For the first time in decades, I allowed myself to grieve properly. My husband, my mother, my lost years, everything. And something else changed too. I could no longer look at dying patients the same way. A few months after recovering, I officially retired. My final ambulance shift was quiet, rainy, almost identical to the night I died. Before leaving, Rachel hugged me tightly. "You came back different," she whispered. She was right, I did. Not perfect, not enlightened, just softer, more awake somehow. These days, I spend most evenings with my daughter. We cook together, drink tea, talk for hours. Sometimes about painful things we ignored for years. Sometimes about nothing important at all. And strangely, those ordinary moments now feel sacred to me, because death taught me something life never could. The soul does not starve for success. It starves for connection, for presence, for honesty, for love given while there is still time. People often ask whether I believe in heaven now. I honestly do not know. What I saw was stranger than religion, more personal, more emotional. It felt less like judgment and more like revelation, as if death removes every distraction until only truth remains. And sometimes late at night, when the house is quiet, I still think about those doors floating in the darkness. I still think about the shoreline, the golden lights, the peace waiting beyond the mist. Part of me believes one day I will return there again, but next time, I think I will be less afraid. Because now I understand something I never understood while alive. Death is not the frightening part. The frightening part is reaching the end of life without truly seeing the people you love. And sometimes, when winter storms hit the city late at night, I still hear ambulance sirens far away, soft, lonely, echoing through the snow. And every single time, I whisper the same quiet prayer for the strangers inside. I hope they know they are not alone.